This actual play is intended for mature audiences and contains themes some viewers may find upsetting. Please check each episode's show notes for specific content warnings and enjoy the show with care.
The Shrine's Fire.
Narrate a flashback to a time you hid something you were duty-bound to hand over. Fenwyn stands in a wooded glade, looking down at a brooch in his right hand. It bears the sigil of the king who would never take the throne. 2 stags, antlers locked. He ponders it, puts it into his cloak. And then we see the boy. The boy he had skillfully, artfully absconded from the merchant vessel in the Amber Strait. He's gagged, he's bound. This is where the exchange is going to take place. Fenwyn puts his hand out onto a rock, closes his eyes and feels. He can hear. He can sense. The convoy is coming. The exchange is about to be made. His part in this is over. But then there is the squeaking of wheels and a small horse-driven cart rolls into the glade. It's driven by an old man wearing grey robes, greets Fenwyn with a warm smile. Fenwyn says, "Thanks for this. I knew you'd come." And he picks the kid up, picks the boy who would be king, lifts him up onto the back of the wagon, whispers to the old man, to the port at Crown Falls. They'll take care of him there. And he watches them go. A choice his, perhaps? No. As the convoy rolls into the glade, ready for the exchange, he holds his hands up in surrender. He must pay for this transgression. Back in the old capital, Fenwyn is being celebrated. He is the quiet hero, the legend of his order, having performed this daring extraction. The bells are ringing somewhere down in the city to signal that royal blood has been spilled, that the boy who is about to be king has been executed. But Fenwyn knows that's not true. He doesn't know how the Crystal Door did it. He never asks. In this line of work, you never really pay attention to the piece that's being moved across the board. You think more about the other hand taking the piece off. He's been a double agent, a triple agent. Every cross is double crossed again. His is not the place to ask why. but he knows he did what was asked of him. He doesn't really know who was executed in that tower, whether there was an execution at all, whether it was some doppelganger conjured by a blood mage, or whether it was just some urchin from the street. Either way, he knew it was false. And everyone was celebrating him, toasting him, Fenwyn, who moves like ink in water. 2 years later, we see an old horse-drawn cart trundling along the city road. It's driven by an old man in a grey robe. He looks much older now, even though not that much time has passed. He has his eyes covered with bandages. His hands shake as he grips the reins, and this jaded nag pulls them slowly along the road. Up ahead, there is a guardhouse. 2 militia step out to inspect the wagon. They approach, and they see the old man and a small hooded figure sat in the back. As they move round to see who the passenger is, the old man says, He is awoken. Look not upon him. And the guards share a look. And then one of them reaches in, pulls back the kid's hood, and we hear 3 things. 2 pops as his eyes explode, and then a maddening scream as he falls to the ground, writhing in pain. The other guard moves round and suffers the same fate. The old man grips the reins, G's the nag on. The cart is approaching the old capital. The high walls, the dizzying spires, the maddening geometry of Amberell. The cart pulls up about 100 meters down the road, and the passenger in the back steps out. We don't see them, but they say to the old man, "You must bear witness." And the old man says, I don't want to. And the passenger says, "Your testament is key." And the old man removes the bandage from his eyes, and we can see that all the skin around his eyes has been cut or burned away. He is unable to blink. He is unable to look away. And the passenger starts to walk ahead of the cart, ahead of the horse. It's just a child. And we see a spectral crown emerge around his head as the hidden king moves to take the throne in the old capital.
Startup session. A quick recap today. I mostly just want to check in with the Embers. Ash, you are marked by the Black Cortege, destined for the Hidden Throne, and friend of the Luminians. We're going to be starting on Pale Crossing, and so I think we'll kind of see where things go from there. There's plenty to do at the Morning Tower. But if you think you want to summon knights, you can, although I don't think it's going to be very dangerous when we get to the Morning Tower.
I still have to.
Okay, fantastic.
I have to name them.
Fantastic. Theia the Waxing Tone, you are exposed, burned, and, quote, the time of the Wolf King is ending. I'll go ahead and just tell you now that your move quest is the same as last time, to sing this song at the top of the Stairs of Sorrow. Calyxe of the Verdant Crucible, you are Herald of the Speaking Root. Do you think you're going to want to visit Fen the Gravedigger once you get to Elegy?
I think so.
Okay, noted. And Fenwyn, who moves like ink in water, Bloom Blindness, and Beneath Worth. that was quite a moment. If anyone took advancements, I don't think anyone did last time, or maybe Theia did. Theia, did you advance last time?
Yes, I unlocked all my aspects.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. And then was there anybody who needed to write an item with 2 aspects from last time?
Oh, yes. I wrote a woven belt made of scraps of fabric from those who abandoned hope in the face of the branch-torn knight's judgment. It recalls being steeped in self-loathing and finding the strength to continue regardless.
Oh, nice. Good. Seems like Fenwyn would like to have that currently.
Where was this yesterday?
Fantastic. And if you want to mark end of session questions, new ones you can. We're going to begin on Pale Crossing. The dreary boat ride across the fog-shrouded sea. You can go to any shore, whether it be lake, river, sea, and call for the boatman and he will come. And indeed, he came directly to you on the river that runs through the vine-hearted chapel. And the Pale Crossing passed through the river, now perfectly still, and eventually made its way to the fog-shrouded sea, also perfectly still. And we find all of you there on it. So are they going to have shiny things in this morning tower? Baubles? Jewels? Silver? Perhaps gold ornamentation? I wonder if it can be easily pried away. Yes. I can go and pray. What do the dead need of lovely things, anyway?
You would do well to leave them be.
You're no fun. I knew that the moment you came back from the fight with the branch-torn knight.
Never claimed to be otherwise.
Still, that rose glass locket is awfully pretty. I may have something to trade for it.
What could you possibly have that you think would interest me? As you said, I'm no fun.
I have a splendid ring, some sort of opal, I think. Couldn't get it off the hand. He pulls out a hand from his bag that has the ring still on it. He's rummaging through. This is the second leg of the Pale Crossing journey, the second mark. And that means we have a new thing to do here. The boatman fills your mind with images of so-called prophets brought low, machines and other wonders torn to pieces, and the laughter of the scornful. He demands a price of hubris and arrogance. Which of you on this journey will pay it? Mark an aspect and describe how it satisfies the boatman. The boatman will drop you all off into the ocean. Someone doesn't pay.
I think I have something. A prophet, long beheld by the Verdant Crucible, was a young man. His name derived from oak. He was strong, capable, brutal when necessary. Held all of the components a good Crox druid should. And yet, there is knowledge of him carved into a tree deep in the glades that he came face to face, toe to toe with the crystal door. Agents of such spaces and shadows. And his might and his brute could not conquer them. he refused to lose, and in doing so, held up a hollyberry branch, ever blooming, above his head, signaling to make a peaceful parley. Which he did. A truce was signed with the crystal door, and when he returned to the Verdant Crucible, with that holly branch by his side, they lost count of how many parts of him were hung from the trees for such weakness. And I would like to mark the hollyberry branch ever blooming and the signals for the wish of a peaceful parley.
Nice, good. While you're on Pale Crossing, you can make camp. I'll remind you of the make camp move. When you and any other number of embers settle down to rest, you can tell a pleasant story from the time of the old fire or engage in your ritual. If you do, clear an appropriate condition or unmark an appropriate aspect. Then as a group, you discover a clue for one of your 2 active mysteries. In this case, the Mandric Monastery or the Umberslade. I'll just turn the scene over to you and then interject when it's time to get to Elegy. Roleplay.
Theia is lounging as she does, sort of lying out across one of the sort of benches on this boat. And she kind of turns to face Ash. 30 years in the company of the Luminians.
Oh, aye.
It must have been intriguing. They are so silly. Although, I have seen how their feasts tend to end. Did you ever partake?
I like to imagine Asha's about to say something that she's not supposed to.
Ash goes, "Shall I be honest with you?" And then Asha interjects, "Well, I mean, not really. Like maybe like a little." And Ash just cuts a look towards Asha.
Let your little songbird sing to me.
Oh, very, very much a pleasure to be making your acquaintance, my lady. I have heard so much of the troubadours, though they were more of a story. I never expected to actually meet a troubadour. I am Asha, formerly Pluck. Ash is just looking as Asha sort of falls over herself in introduction to this storied figure. The Luminians were helpful in many ways. They showed me many things. Many far-reaching things. Some of them I wish I had never seen. But many of them taught me much about the universe, the cosmos, things beyond our knowing, understanding, reckoning.
Anyone can tell a story about things we do not know and understand.
It was not so much stories. I looked through windows and doors to other places. It was enlightening.
Theia reaches up and sort of waves her hand through the fog so that it creates a sort of portal, a sort of mockery, and says, "Little songbird, did you know that the troubadours are not of this earth either? Oh, we came from the stars, a gift to sing to you lovely people, and now we walk this earth, shaping it with our voices even now. Did you know that?"
Yes. Well, no, but somewhat. It is one of the stories that has been told about. There are many different interpretations over time. One of them was that, well, like you said, that the troubadours came from the stars. One of them said that they were the children of beings who had come from the stars and then had like mated with the mortals, and so they were like half human, half god things. Are you a god or something like it?
What do you think, Songbird?
I think you're very beautiful and a little intimidating.
Oh, thank you. And she turns back to Ash. You see, you can tell anyone anything.
I suppose. Though some should know better. Asha doesn't take it in stride. She just keeps looking towards Theia. Would it be possible once we're off the boat, or maybe on the boat, whichever you would prefer, I would very much like to play with you.
Oh, my dear, I'm afraid you're incorporeal, but we can try.
The incorporeal nature of her does not deny the blush that spreads across her face. I meant kittens. I meant kittens.
Oh, of course, silly me. I'm sure we can manage.
I would appreciate if you did not thoroughly destroy my lovely squire.
No promises, Shepherd.
What are the others doing?
I think, as we've seen every time Fenwyn has been on Pale Crossing in particular, he is perched on the prow, looking across the fog-shrouded sea. But something about the exchange between Theia and Ash and Asher makes him get up and walk around like on the gunwale of the boat, even though it's very narrow. The sea is still, but it's still a feat of balance that is beyond most. And he moves to the back of the boat, where I think we find Calyxe, and joins her, looking back at the faint outline of the great forest that looms in the distance as it recedes into the fog. Fenwyn kind of drops to a crouch, still up on the gunwale, but now at the stern, and says, "The decades have changed much about you, witch."
Do you think so? Truly?
Can I explain how I perceive that something inside me knows this to be true? How else would you have escaped the forest's judgment all this time?
It's remarkable. I was going to say the same of you. It is amazing how, in keeping your sight from you as I did, you have grown into something I do not recognize.
Unlike you, I fear judgment is on my heels.
Judgment hangs over me every day. It is in the sun's glare. It is in the moonbeam. It is in the eyes of everyone I see. I am no stranger to judgment, Mouse. I know what I am. Do you think I am blind to it?
I think you see much. Do you still speak with your oracles?
No more. They cannot tell me anything. lest I stopped trying some decades back. They would parrot the same phrase at me over and over. My connection to the land somewhat lost. Until most recently. But there was a time before the dimning. I craved more from them. They were not mere puppets to be placed upon the trees and to be rooted into the earth to speak beautiful truths. We had conversations. I learned about them. I knew their names, their families. I could regale to you some of the most beautiful stories of a pack of troubadours that they would not reveal to one another. Not in song, not in verse, not in hum. And they told me, spoke to me, like I was... Or the candle bearers. Oh, the way they speak of light, the way they talk of fire. It would inspire something even in you. There was a time when the oracles were more than machines, more than pure means to an end for the entire Crucible. Then came the dimning. Do you see?
Tell me, would you put me on the tree? What tales would my blood tell?
No, little mouse. No. No. Everything I need to know about you, I see in the eyes of the wolf. She gives you away far better than anything I could possibly get from you, I fear. But why don't you tell me of your own volition? Why not share with me? What worse thing could I possibly do to you? What suffering could you feed that I do not already know?
I fear I have wrought more suffering on this world than 1,000,000 crux druids.
So you judge me with empty eyes. That's interesting. Tell me. Not of suffering, tell me of something pleasant. Tell me of something you miss. Tell me of a time before the dimning that makes you long for it to have never been.
There are things that cannot be undone. And any wish for the joy of things that went before is folly. I know that now. All I can do is try to atone. I am Fenwyn, and I am a coward.
It is a pleasure to finally meet you, Fenwyn. For I am Calyxe, and I am also a coward. And in a different life, maybe we will be standing in each other's shoes.
I think we should check in with the move. Does anyone want to make a case for having shared a pleasant story or done their ritual and therefore cleared a condition or unmarked an aspect?
Hello, Jason. I don't believe you said the story had to be true.
Fair enough.
I would love to clear exposed, as the mask is very much back on.
Yeah, I'll take that. Sounds good to me. Ash, did you have any thoughts?
Clearing friend of the Luminians is not necessarily negative, but I do.
No. I think you can clear it. You've talked about it,
Yeah.
worked it out. I think it's fine. Yeah, you're no longer. It doesn't make you an enemy of the Luminians.
Great. I think. I mean, I'd like to clear beneath Worth, even though it still lingers, because I think that in Fenwyn's eyes, it's now sort of clear what he has to do.
Yeah.
Even though he's not too thrilled about it, but
I'm up
if
to
that's
that.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's good. Calyxe, any thoughts?
I think I would like to clear can only be satisfied if the whole world hangs in.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You get to define a clue as well. Anyone have any thoughts on something they might have seen or observed? You can also wait until after you're done and on the way back, because the journey to and from Elegy is all one journey, so you have time to kind of ponder that, but just note it. You arrive on Elegy. We can do stuff with Fen on the way back or on the way out. For now, I think we're going to go straight to the Morning Tower. You trudge from the shore across the gray, gloomy island. You have to wait for a minute as a funereal procession passes. It's a long one. It's like when you get stuck at a train crossing and you have to just wait there for a while all these wailing, sad people wander by. You eventually make it to the tower. Burke is already sizing the place up. You may have had to already drag him away from a particularly ornate headstone that he was trying to wrench something from. But he is going to go to the Morning Tower and he's going to pray and consider the evil of his ways and perhaps ponder the world that was. Sister Shayna is there to greet you. She's the younger of the two nuns. Hasn't aged a day in 30 years. She's wearing a simple gray habit. And she's pretty in her way. She says, welcome. Welcome back, Embers. I recognize some of you. It's been so long. So very long. How go your journeys in the lands remaining?
They go well, my pious sister. They go well. We move closer every day to finding one of the 7 keys. Closer every day to seeing the rightful king on the throne. Calyxe throws a look back at Ash and smiles.
Splendid, splendid. Sister Nor says, hope is dangerous, but she's a silly old cow, don't you think? Every time you return, I feel the tower shift just a little. I think it knows you Embers are going to bring change to the world. I was just on my way to a shrine. You should join me. We should pray and remember the world that was. That is the purpose of this tower, after all. And she leads you to a shrine, not up the stairs, but deeper on the ground floor of the Hall of Remembrance. And if one of you wants to mark a cinder as payment, you can pray at the Shrine of Remembrance as a group. Who would like to mark the cinder?
I'd love to do a bit of praying at a shrine, but I've already marked some, so if anyone else wants to do that, please do.
I don't think we've seen a cinder from Ash yet.
I can volunteer one. Let me see. I have no idea what it's gonna be. The Legion's shadow. Glory lingers even when names have been buried.
Glory lingers even when names have been buried?
Even where names have been buried.
Even
yeah.
where names have been buried. Sister Shayna bids you to pray at the Mud Shrine. In the time of the old fire, many small folk made their living along the banks of the great river, and the river provided fish for eating, reeds for building, a dependable artery of trade throughout the lands, and much more besides. The people who depended on the great river were called mudmen or mudfolk, titles they bore with no shame. By praying at this shrine, you recall a family of mudfolk, names lost to time, how they lived, and how they died when the dimning came. Michelle, a family who we shall know as mother, father, son, and daughter has made a life on the great river for countless generations. Narrate a montage of scenes in flashback showing how, although their lives on the river are hard, they are bountiful. How does the family's work draw them closer together? Why do they find no shame in being called mudfolk?
The river is humble, and the river provides. Sun weaves reeds into a wide-brimmed hat to protect daughter from the harsh sun as she scampers around in the mud with a metal pan, sifting for shiny things, or perhaps useful things, to take home. And mother stands knee-deep in the mud, catching eels, which father will fry up into a feast every night. And when merchant vessels run aground in that deep, deep mud, it is this family who know how to shake it loose. The merchants will offer gold, and mother and father will laugh. What use have they for gold? The river provides. And when mother and father have an argument about something petty, the water washes their anger away. And when grandfather and grandmother reach the end of their days and are buried in this mud, the water holds on to their memories. There is glory in the mundane. What reason should they have to be ashamed of being mudfolk?
Matt, daughter is the first member of her family to glimpse the dimning, which came to the mudfolk in the guise of the great river itself. Please narrate a flashback showing this moment. How did the great river change to reflect the coming of the dimning? Why does daughter think the great river might be a creature of the dimning rather than the old fire?
Daughter is crouched at the river's edge, trying in vain to pull in a clawfish trap that appears to have been washed further upriver and is snagged on something. This isn't uncommon, but she knows she's going to have to get up to her waist in water to free it, and there better be something good in it, or this is going to be a monumental waste of time. It's early morning, it's cold. There's a mist hanging over the river. She's used to it. She wades in up to her waist, keeping her arms high. She gets to the first trap, frees it pretty easy. It was snagged. Whatever was in there has been caught by something bigger. Small price to pay. She moves to the second trap. That too was snagged, and it's wrecked. That's going to be a morning to fix. And when she gets to the third trap, she has them all tied around her waist so they can't drift away. It's not really what's in the trap or what isn't in the trap that's the issue. It's the fact that she feels herself being turned slowly around, and she watches the traps drift in a direction up river, and she watches as the river's flow changes direction completely. She gets out as fast as she can. She runs to tell father and mother and brother. They don't believe her at first, and then they come out. All the families come out. They all come out to see it. But far from being perturbed, many of the families think this is a glorious gift. The river provides. The river is humble. This is a sign. Things are changing. Things are changing. Over the coming days, daughter will find herself going about her tasks, and white objects will float to the surface of the water. Fish, dead by means inexplicable, filled with gas, floating to the surface, splitting open, sinking back down to the bottom. But many families think these are gifts. The river is humble. The river provides. One by one, families grow sick from eating the fish. One by one, families die from eating the fish. But they think it is a gift. The river is humble. The river provides. But daughter knows different. She knows something is very, very wrong.
Jess, the dimning first struck the family in the form of tragedy. Please narrate a flashback showing how one member of the family was lost to the Great River. How did the family cope with the loss? How did they know they would each eventually succumb to the dimning?
As the fish have become scarce, mother and father's bouts of pettiness, the anger that flares up in them, is harder to quench. Where usually they would let bygones be bygones and wade into the great river to allow the water to wash it all away in their ritual of sorts. It gets a little harder each time. They must wade a little deeper until they are up to their necks, sometimes, to feel calm at one another and to think of the family first and not at the hunger gnawing at their bellies. It's on this day, an auspicious day. Mother and father are fighting again. Pettiness rises up into a great rage like a wave. It overtakes them. They look at one another, those eyes that used to behold each other with such love and reverence. It becomes too much. Her father takes mother's hand somewhat forcefully and drags her to the river bend. There they wade in. The mud greets their ankles, their knees, but they are still not calm. They wade further and further. Mother is resistant. She is pulling back. She does not want to be in the river. She wants to talk about this. They have to leave. They have to leave. If they are to survive, father will hear none of it. That grip on her wrist tightens. The mud greets the tops of their knees, their thighs. They are waiting, waiting, waiting. And father looks at mother finally as they are up to near their chins in the river. And mother is finally silent. And she is looking at him, looking at father with such horror. And she is suddenly struggling. Suddenly she cannot move. My foot. I think it's a clawfish trap. I cannot move. I cannot move. It hurts. It hurts. Take me out. Take me out. Father tries to move. Father tries to drag her, but he cannot. And then the river flow changes. It should not be flowing this way. It should not be coming this quickly. It is the wrong time of day for the tides. He tries to drag her, grabs her by both wrists through the water, tries to pull her back through the mud, but she will not move. And he has to make a choice. She is screaming, and the bubbles are rising. as he moves back, as he lets those wrists go, wrists that he has held in passion, wrists that he has clung to as she birthed their children, wrists that have meant so much to her. He has to let them go. Scrabbling, choking, dying on his own lungs, he makes it back to the river's edge and screams for daughter and son, screams for them to be by the bend, screams for them to help. But the water is silent now, and they cannot see the bubbles where Mother is. For Mother is silent now. The river has washed all away. And as Father looks out, as daughter sobs, as son stares in open-mouthed horror at what has happened, Father must find a way to comfort. We will call this Mother's Bend. Mother's Bend. She would have liked that. She would have liked that. And as each of them take a look down the river, an old willow that hangs over it, a mud bank that never seems to disappear, a great rock in the middle of the stream, each of them realizes that one day that will be Father's rock, that will be daughter's willow, and that will be the son's mud.
Wren, narrate a flashback to the family's end. What did it look like when the Dimning claimed them for good?
Father won't leave. He stares towards Mother's Bend every day as daughter goes down towards the ever-dwindling fish traps. The fish come, but they know they are not edible, and soon the fish stop coming at all. The waters change, they move upriver and then down, and the fish do not come at all. Their bellies grow hungry, and then they stop growing hungry. They shrink, their ribs show. Son begs, Father, please, we must leave, we must go elsewhere. Mother would not have wanted us to stay here and die. This is not what we're meant to do. But Father won't leave. And one day, when the waters change, he sees what he's been waiting for. The tides recede, and he sees her long curling tresses. He sees her water molded skin. Mother has come back. Mother has come back. And she does not speak, for when she opens her mouth, there is just seaweed and water. But she holds a hand out towards him. Her wrists are still dark and bruised from where he'd gripped them before. Clinging to her are white bits of scale from the bloated fish. And he wades out into the water. He wades down into the mud. Daughter sees him. Her back was to this. She did not see her mother appear. Father, what? Father, stop. Father, that's not her. But he does not stop. He reaches for her hand. He holds it so tightly. He sobs with regret. She pulls him closer, embracing him. They sink down into the mud. And suddenly daughter realizes that she is sinking too. She scrambles. She tries to get out. Son runs in to help her, to pull her out of the water. This does not have to be how they end. It does not have to be this way. But then he is sinking too. They are mud folk. They will be mudfolk forever. The river is humble. It was humble. Now it swells, and all it provides is death. It quiets. There are no bubbles, there are no screams. They were wrong about the rock and the tree, but they were right about the mud. It's the mud for them all.
A remembrance for the world that was. Well, after that happy that happy exercise, you all get rewards. Ash, since you contributed the cinder, you get to add the mud bundle to your equipment, a collection of tools commonly found among the mudmen during the time of the old fire, including a well-made fishing rod, a collapsible boat large enough for one person, that's ironic, and a jar of mud poultice infused with the spirit of the great river. The rest of you, you get to each take an aspect to one of your relics inspired by the story. Does anyone have any thoughts?
I think I might add a fishing line binding to my traveling cloak that might just be like inexplicably strong, even though it's really just string.
Like it.
May I add to the Wolf King's coda my knife?
Sure.
That when it flies through the air, it can change direction on a whim.
Sure, yeah. Like the river did. Yeah, it's good.
Bouncing off that a bit, could I add a heartwood nail made of willow that has the capacity to change the tide?
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, I like it. It's really good. Ash got a fishing rod. it's the humble fishing rod and mud poultice. No staff that shoots lightning this time, I fear. Sister Shayna will direct those of you who do not yet have your own alcove and shrine in the Morning Tower to an empty spot. And of course, she'll remind you of yours, Fenwyn. She actually says to you, Fenwyn, "Sir, you seem a bit downtrodden. Perhaps adding adornment to your shrine will help you. It will ease your way, ease your heart."
My heart needs easing, my conscience a little more.
Yes. I do not know what happens in the lands across the fog-shrouded sea. I know only that I do my best to maintain things here. If you have equipment or weapons, leave them, and I will see that they are tended to. Mechanically leave them, and she will unmark all the aspects. Additionally, you can mark an aspect to get a new question for your shrine's fire. And those of you who have not yet established an alcove, you can do that as well. Also, some of you, I know for sure Calyxe does, might have alcove moves as well. So this is the time to visit your alcove and do whatever things you want to do there. And then after that, if you wish, you can explore, talk to supplicants, etc.
How long do we have to leave the relics on recharge here?
Until you come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cruel.
Can I actually make a shrine?
Yeah.
I don't have one yet.
Sure. Yeah. All you have to do is just mark an aspect, and then the rest of us will come up with a flashback for you, inspired by the aspect.
Okay. So we have... I'm putting it to the group. We have the banner, the vow plate, and the sword. On the banner, I have "Its nothingness was so profound, even the old fire dimmed when the banner was raised," which seems real powerful. On the vow plate, there are a few, but an interesting one that I've used is "No vow sworn while wearing it can be broken." And then on name taker, there is "The blade hums low, a chorus of quiet voices repeating the names inscribed on it."
I've got an idea for that one if you wanted to mark that.
I've got an idea for the banner one. Go ahead, Matt.
Very simple. Narrate a flashback to the first name etched on name taker.
That's a good one. I was going to do for the banner essentially a flashback to like a battle that the banner flew over.
If I may complicate your decision, I did have an idea for your battle plate.
Yes.
Which was a flashback to a time you kept a vow that you wished you could break.
Oh.
That's pretty strong, I think.
That's really great. One is like a big action set piece. One is kind of a history thing. And then one's like very personal. Those are good choices.
I will choose. I think I can actually sort of tie two together. So I will mark "The blade hums low" to do the first name inscribed on name taker.
Fantastic.
I wouldn't be against adding another old fire by marking a relic. Lord knows I could use them.
Yeah, even burning them.
Just as security's sake. I will give you all to play with my quick change kit, an outfit that can be quickly modified to one of several halfway decent disguises.
I like how it's halfway decent disguises. Not even like really good ones.
It's just a newspaper with two eye holes cut in it.
I would like to suggest something. I really love your character because your character's flashbacks, because we sometimes get to see like courtly intrigue and like stuff like that. So I would like to see a time when you like infiltrated a grand party or something, something really big and flashy. That's my idea.
Can we make you have to narrate three quick changes during it?
That's pretty good. Any other thoughts?
Maybe just a little darker. Narrate a flashback to a time where you pretended or made yourself up as someone who you really wish you hadn't. Someone a bit weaker than everything else, but like someone whose shoes you really wish you weren't in, and what you saw.
Elements, all of that I like. I wonder if it could be narrate a flashback to when a disguise got you in way over your head.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah. It's good. You pretended to be a pirate lawyer.
She's pretty good with maritime law, so
yes. Jareth, cute story, pirate lawyer. Fantastic. Theia, would you like to?
I would.
Yeah.
Can I mark the aspect I literally just invented?
Yeah, of
Because I
course.
want to see what you do with it. So it's on the Wolf King's Code and my silver knife. As it flows through the air, it can change direction on a whim.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Something like narrate a time where you were torn brutally between Red Rhaegar and Blue Alsain, and what that decision was.
I'm going to suggest something really cosmic and say, narrate a flashback to when you first flew through the air from the moons and arrived in the lands remaining.
That's funny and silly, but I am more drawn to Jess's, I must admit.
I think I really liked that the first one you had on your shrine about like insulting the Wolf King. I wonder whether something along the lines of you narrate a flashback to a time that you fell out of favor with Red Regar or Blue Alsain, one of those two things, and what did you do to earn their displeasure or something? I don't know if that's too similar to the first one. I'm not sure.
The idea being like to turn it around, is that the idea? Like,
yeah.
Is that the reversing? Like, I'm trying to figure out what the aspect is in that.
Yeah. I wonder if it's kind of, if it's a time, narrating a time, I don't know how to word it nice, that she was continuously shifting between the two and it caused trouble between the two moons sides.
Yeah, there's a way to write that. Narrate a flashback to a time. Oh gosh, this is amazing audio. I'm sorry.
Narrate a flashback to a time that your indecision pushed the moons out of alignment.
Hey, that's great.
That's pretty good. That's
amazing.
Good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Fantastic. Calyxe, do you want to mark one?
Yeah, I think so. And again, purely because I think it'll be really interesting to see what you guys come up with. I'm going to mark the flask of white saps. Too much can lead to madness or catatonia.
Oh, interesting.
Narrate a flashback to a time that your fervor pushed you too far. Just because I want to see what too far to Calyxe
Yeah,
is.
what does that mean? I know, gosh, like, whew. I would like to. I want something where, like, as a punishment, you were like isolated and driven mad, or something like that. I think that'd be kind of cool. That's my idea. I don't know.
And narrate what it was you did.
Yeah.
And how you were punished for your transgression.
Maybe to flip it slightly to a time where she was sane, and maybe what made her mad.
Well, that's pretty good.
Something like that.
But narrate a flashback to the wildest night you had on Tree Sap.
Partying with the undead. Alarix, get out here, my guy.
Narrate a flashback to when something lent you clarity and what you did to bring yourself back.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's clever. Yeah. I like the twist there. It's good. I do want to take a moment to check in with your move as well, Calyxe, while we've got you. Plant me where my power can grow. So you routinely take these body parts from your oracles, and when at your alcove, you can graft one of these parts to a sapling that you have with you. You have this an ash sapling. If you do so, clear it from the list of parts and add it to one of the lines on the sapling, and then narrate a prophecy showing how this specific graft will someday help the sapling reshape the world. Additionally, the sapling will have a connection to one of your oracles. Write the name of the oracle below. Whenever you graft a part to the sapling, the oracle is soothed. Unmark one of their boxes on the journey sheet. You are able to mark the pyre's crown once the sapling is fully grafted. So you actually can't mark that until you're done with the sapling. And so you get to kind of save an oracle. Sir Denebray is already dead, right? You can't save him, I fear, but...
Yeah, the only two that can, well, technically three that can be saved are the last step, Fen, and Sister Ichor.
That's right. Yeah. So it kind of depends on who you want to tie to the sapling, spiritually speaking. Do you want to do this at all?
I think I do, but I don't want to do all three body parts that I have.
You can only do one. You can only do one. So.
Okay. I So the one I think I would use from the ribs, the hands, and the tongue. I think I would use the tongue.
Okay, fantastic. Which part of the tree is that going to be?
I think that's gonna be the leaves.
Nice. Are you ready to narrate a prophecy showing how this specific graft will someday help the sapling reshape the world?
I think so.
Go for it.
Calyxe kneels down to this fragile little thing rooted in stone, growing where it should not, against all odds. And from her hip, from a little pouch that smells as terrible as it looks, she reaches in and pulls out Sir Denebre's rotted black tongue. Even as she holds it, it begins to fall apart in her hands. The very buds on its tip come away in her fingers. It oozes. But as she holds it, it flutters with stolen life. She moves forward and manages to perch it on a section of branches so that it almost mimics a dying leaf. And as she steps back to admire her work, there is this moment, almost like déjà vu, that comes over her. Except it is a scene from the future she sees. This sapling has not one tongue on it, but 1,000. Each of them wagging, rotting, black and flittering. And they lap at the air, they curl around it. They work with one another to form a voice from the wind. And the voice speaks truth. The truth that reaches all. For it is the very voice of the wind. It is the very voice of the earth. And as she looks around, it is not just this sapling, it is a forest. It is a tongue plucked from the mouth of every undeserved. Everyone who would not see the great beauty in the earth and what she has given and the suffering she requires. And that voice says something. Something about an awakening. Something about not looking upon what has woken, but to awake it anyway. 1,000,000,000 fluttering tongues. An overwhelming stench of decay. And a howl that rises in her ears. It is such beautiful truth. Then suddenly she is back in the morning tower, affixing one tongue to one branch on one tree. She has a lot of work to do.
Theia, would you like to climb the stairs of sorrow now?
Sure. Do I know what those are?
I think we saw them. Fenwyn, didn't you climb the stairs of sorrow last
Okay,
time you
it
were
was
here?
those.
You have not. Yeah. It's just the stairs that kind of go up the tower, and they're like they're closed in by a narrow, like there's like walls, and then so it's like inside the wall. Right?
I'm with you.
And there are little alcoves and shrines along the way, candles. I'll remind everyone that these stairs, this tower, had many other purposes over the eons, over the millennia. The Morning Tower is just its current guise. You actually climb the stairs as high as they go, and they take you to the broken bridge, high above the Hall of Remembrance. A shattered stone bridge juts out into empty air, its far end collapsing into ruin long before it reaches what lies beyond. Chunks of masonry hang precariously over the void, iron supports twisted and snapped as if wrenched apart by something deliberate. Cold wind howls through the gap, carrying faint choral echoes from somewhere unreachable. Scraps of prayer cloth flutter from the broken edge. Sister Nor, the older nun, comes up behind you, Theia. She says, "On the other side of that bridge lies the cloister. It is where the other nuns stay. I will say no more of the cloister except to say this. The sisters there were already ancient in the time of the old fire, and I expect most of them are dead by now. The fools. They consider themselves embers too, you know. They thought they could bring back the old fire if they prayed hard enough. You cannot yet reach the other side. The broken bridge is not passable. Maybe in the future, something will change, and you'll have access to the cloister. But for now, Sister Nor leaves you, and you are here, and you have a quest from the Wolf King. What do you do?
Well, I cannot reach these poor sisters mourning so far away, but I shall sing them a psalm that they might hear it on the wind. Weep not, lest the salt of your tears make this garden refuse to grow. Breathe deep, and the stillness of air may still your heartbeat, love. Your frame cannot withstand these sobs, dear. Place them in my hands. I shall wash your eyes of this sadness. Weep not.
There are supplicants in the Morning Tower. Vera has returned to the Morning Tower one last time. And Burke, the collector, has set up shop in the Morning Tower. You can converse with them if you wish to get clues for the other two mysteries. I'll leave that up to you all if you want. Otherwise, you can head out of the Morning Tower and do things on Elegy if you need to. Once everything's wrapped up in the Morning Tower and Elegy, we will get back on Pale Crossing and go back to the lands remaining. We won't have the scene on the Pale Crossing on the way back, but we will get to travel through the lands remaining a little bit before you get to the next thing. And so I'm going to go around the table. Ash, what are you doing right now?
I think I would speak to Vera a little bit and then maybe see if I can find Calyxe.
That sounds good to me. Calyxe, where are you going to be?
I kind of want to have a chat with Bark, and then, if there's time, go visit Fen.
Fantastic. Fenwyn, what's your plan?
I too was thinking about speaking to Burke. So if you wanted to free up yourself to go and visit Fen, I could. I was about to say interrogate. I don't mean interrogate. Speak to Burke.
Sold.
Sounds good. Let's then check in with Theia. Theia, is there anything else you want to do?
What's Vera's sort of specialty that she knows about?
Matters related to assassins, the dead, or secret orders.
Intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we allowed to ask them about the Lord clues, or only?
No, only regular mystery clues, and
How upsetting. So
Above the
many
table-
strange orders to do with this dragon.
Yeah, above the table, we're not going to really get a chance to do the other two mysteries, and so
Yeah.
it might be fun just to kind of see the characters, but I'm not sure like how much utility is going to be happening here.
Maybe I'll just go visit lovely Vera.
Yeah.
See what she's up to.
I think you find Vera. She's ditched her white veil and back to just simpler clothing. She's sharpening a blade against a stone. The blade itself is broken, actually. She's just sharpening a shard, essentially, on a handle. And she sees you both and says, "Oh, old habits keep the hands busy and the dreams quiet. I don't want to go back to those green dreams. Nor do I want to go back to my dreams of death. I want no more dreams. How can I help you?"
Milady, my visiting you here was more to see if there was a way I could help you.
I believed for many years that I was meant to wed the dragon, that I would be able somehow to change and give birth to young that would thrive, spreading the green fire all over the lands. But when I stood before the branch-torn knight, the folly of this was revealed to me. The branch-torn knight revealed much. I cannot speak of it aloud, but I knew that I had to come back here. This is my place.
In these dreams, as I've said, they're falsehoods. He can command you no more, should you stay the path you're on. My companions and I, and he looks at Theia, we are on the mission, as you said before. We will find the hidden throne, and we will defeat this dragon. It will be difficult. I would not diminish it, but I would have your faith in us to keep you safe in these times, as we have done.
I have faith in this. I have faith that you will keep me and all the others gathered here at the tower safe, and that you will continue to gather people and send them here. What I do not have faith in is that you will find 7 keys to the old capital. We only know of the one held by Noxiliacs. Where are the 6 others? All of this striving, all of this torment, all of this sorrow, and at best, you are 1/7 of the way to your goal. Do you think you can even last long enough in these lands to acquire a 2nd or 3rd key, much less a 7th?
Ash will take the rose glass locket and lay it in her hand and open it. And he wants it to reveal to her his certainty.
This feels like a good justification for the roll. Or if Theia, if you want to trigger the roll and then the rose glass locket can be used to add to the roll, that might be helpful too. But Theia, what are you doing in the scene?
Oh no, I'm quite happy watching, thank you.
Indeed. This is going to be, I'll give you the information move with presence. And are you marking the locket?
I actually can't because it's already marked.
Oh, okay. So it's just
It's
a bit
more
of
of a
fictional
setting piece.
positioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think destined for the hidden throne. I'm going to put you at disadvantage because she's actually calling that into question, right?
Okay. It's a 6.
Theia, do you have an aspect you can mark to bump it to a 7?
Oh, you don't need to. I have a knight.
What does a knight do?
I think as I think it's Bear. I think as she is calling into question his ability to do that, there is just this towering specter that appears behind Ash and lays a hand on his shoulder and then gives her a very silent but serious nod.
Mm.
It shows the faith of the Nameless in him.
Mm. You get 2 clues, actually. Did you question her about assassins or the dead, or?
I mean, the conversation certainly circled around death and whether it will be coming for us embers. I don't know if you will.
Oh, that's kind of true. Yeah, I'm kind of into that, actually. Yeah, I think that's. I'm into it. Sounds good. I'll give you a couple clues. We'll check in with Fenwyn and Burke. Burke can be found arranging vibrantly colored glass shards into a portrait on the ground. Looks like these shards were maybe smashed from, maybe the fight with the pallbearer or something, who knows. But he kind of looks over your shoulder and says, "What?"
Fenwyn is tracing the outline of this with his harpoon, trying to kind of piece together what...
Oh, yeah, you can see it, can't you?
Piece together what this looks like.
He says, careful. I'll describe it to you.
Please.
It's a sort of sunset, I'd say. Sun going down behind Castle Brynwild, and then there's a field of flowers in the front. It's sort of abstract, if I'm being perfectly honest. Still, can't be throwing broken things away these days. There've been nothing left. Gotta put everything to use, as he arranges these shards. What about you, broken thing? Shall we throw you away?
A word of warning, friend. It is only my steady hand that stopped you and your sack of trinkets from sinking to the bottom of the fox-shrouded sea. On that boat, you will be safe here in the Morning Tower, but I have to tell you, your trading days may be over. Your grave robbing days may be picking up.
You can feel him, like, doing the hand wave thing in front of your eyes, and then, like, trying to, like, move and slip his hand into your pocket or to grab something from your belt to see if you're like, he keeps looking up at you to make sure you can't see him, but you can tell what he's doing.
I think Fenwyn just reaches across and puts a hand on his shoulder, and I'm now wearing these carapace braces that I pulled out of my adventures underground in those crypts. These kind of like exoskeletal braces with razor sharp spines, and I think that Bark will feel those pressing into his neck. And Fenwyn says, "Now you must forgive me, my depth perception isn't what it was, so you might have to keep quite still for this."
Well, point taken, Chief, point taken. Literally, as he kind of tries to move away from the the like sharpened thing.
Fenwyn kind of rummages around in this infinite cloak that he seems to wear, and then drops something to the ground that kind of rolls with a clank and lands face up. It's a shoulder pauldron, quite ornate, resembling a face sort of distended in grief. And he says, "You'll find much here, but you won't find one of these. This is the Kryptonite's pauldron. Would you be willing to consider a trade?"
Well, what do you want?
You a light-fingered sort. You're well-traveled. You've been around. I've heard that dragons like gold. Whether that's a children's story, who knows? But if they do, then you'd have heard about dragons.
You can roll the information move with advantage if you're marking an aspect.
I'm going to mark that pauldron.
With presence, which is not your best roll.
Oh, well. This is what happens when you go fishing for Lord clues, everybody.
You got to get a 12 plus to get that Lord clue.
It's a 7, which is not a 12 plus, and that's no good to me. So
Can't bump it up. Yeah, sadly. You can get 2 clues though related to other things. Fen, the gravedigger, Calyxe, after 30 years, he's actually started to become part of the sacred tree. There's not much left of him sticking out. You can see just a couple of fingers. The rest of the hand fused to the branch. It actually looks like branch. And then a single eye. And then just a mouth, which is really just a set of gums and teeth. He no longer has the ability to speak either.
Well, it is not your ability to speak that I came to elicit. Do you remember, Fen, the last time I was here? You're right. It was decades. Decades ago. Oh, and do you remember what you said? That's right. Yes. It was, you remembered the time the Cruxtrits came through your village. Funnily enough, I remembered something myself. As I was leaving on Pale Crossing, I have been holding on to it for so long, and I have longed to tell you about it. See, I remembered your mother. I remembered your village. I remembered standing at the foot of the great tree where we nailed every member of your family. I remember seeing your sisters up in the branches. I remember you hanging your father from the gallows, the way his neck snapped. Oh, truly, truly. It was a great day. One of great suffering. The land feasted, and we were spared ever so slightly from the presence of the Dimning. But it was your mother, Fen. It was your mother I remember clearest. The way she called out for you. The way she spoke your name.
A single tear rolls out of the single eye you can see in the tree bark. It dribbles down, mirroring the sap of the tree.
You see, Fen, even after all this time, and though they do say that time heals all wounds, suffering persists in a myriad of forms. A beautiful menagerie that I get to walk through, admire, be part of. No one is subject not to suffering. We all suffer. You suffer more than most. But I am keen to hear what last truths you can offer me now. In this state, this most sacred of states. How I wish I was in your shoes. Maybe one day I will be, but for now, Fen, tell me something I long to hear.
How many health boxes does Fen have left?
He has 6.
Are you going to be getting a body part from him as well?
I think, yeah, just in case.
I'll give you your clue if you mark 1 box. The clue will be for the Umberslade. He can't speak, obviously. But he shows you a vision in your mind. A vision directly from the tree. Or from a tree, somewhere deep in the Umberslade. A vision of a severed hand gripping the branch of this tree. Its veins and capillaries wound from vines. What do you take from him? For 3 more boxes.
I take his sap, his blood. I find the branches in the trees that were once his hands. With Harrow the martyr catcher, I slice at the wrists and I let that sweet green ichor drain down. As to what to replace it with, Calyxe slices at her own wrists, and through his open maw feeds him her blood.
Fantastic. Vera will reveal clues for the Mandrake Monastery, because she traveled the lands as well for many, many years before you all, and before she was eventually assigned to go to Elegy and wait to kill embers as they wandered out of their crypts. And she traveled them again, most recently, on her way to try to challenge the Branch-Torn Knight. She did pass by the Mandrake Monastery, and she tells actually something you might be interested in, Theia. She teaches you some lyrics from the Mandrake's choir song. We can give the lyrics meaning and say what they are later, but for now, that's the clue. Lyrics from the Mandrake's choir song. She also tells you both a story of the hermit's lost love who died when both moons were full. That's your second clue.
I think after Vera tells us this, Theia leans to Asher, who she is kind of lounging next to at the outer edge of this alcove. I hope you're making note of your master's wonderful deeds, Songbird, that you might sing ballads of them. See how he bends the hearts of his future subjects towards him.
I have been trying to write ballads about him for a long time. He does not like them much, but maybe that will change.
The ballads are not for him. They are for everyone else to know of him. Remember that.
You think she will?
Fenwyn, I owe you 2 clues, yes. The first is for the Umberslade. He's basically trading you things for the pauldron, right? He gives you 2 things for the Umberslade, 2 things that he thinks are worthy of equal to the pauldron in value. First, a rotten map leading to a strange landmark, but the details are faded. Secondly, a rusted helmet with the sigil of House Valcorin.
Trade a pauldron, get a helmet. There we go.
There you go. It's rusted, so that's why I gave you the map as well. Seems fair. As he takes the pauldron. And those are your 2 clues for the Umberslade. And I think that's basically it for Elegy and the Morning Tower. You all can get on the Pale Crossing, take the journey back to the fog-shrouded sea. Maybe slightly less annoying because Burke's not on it this time. You arrive back in the lands remaining. For a time, you follow the scale-blessed pilgrim. He's not aware of you, and so you follow him to see what he gets up to see what he's doing. He goes to what appears to be a cave mouth that's been sealed up by a large stone, like a stone door, as a stone moved in front of the cave mouth. And you can see draconic script carved into the stone above the cave mouth. He considers this to be a site of green grace, and he prays at it. He eventually leaves. And the 4 of you go down to get a better look. And in the doing, we have our struggle with the stillborn Gestalt Knight. First movement. A large stone blocking the way is cracked apart. From the mouth of the burial cave, something immense pulls itself free. At first, it looks like a man in gargantuan armor, but the illusion collapses as it steps into the light. The shape is wrong, too soft, too uneven. The armor is alive. Behold the stillborn Gestalt Knight. He towers over you, his silhouette vaguely humanoid. His plate is a mass of dozens, no, hundreds of small dragon corpses fused together by ritual and hatred. Each is no larger than a dog. Each is sickly and malformed. Their scales have been stripped away, leaving pale, translucent flesh stretched over brittle bone. Wings twitch uselessly. Jaws snap without coordination. Many are mewling, crying out in thin, reedy voices that sound less like roars and more like newborns in pain. Green flame leaks from split throats and cracked mouths, guttering and weak, yet there are so many of them. Let's paint the scene. As you witness this abomination, what detail makes it horrifying, not because it is powerful, but because it is suffering?
Each set of snapping jaws that comes forth from the night, there's this kind of roiling mass of them. But even though there's so many, you can see the light fade from individuals amongst this throng this mass. Maybe every third one will turn a pallid grey and its tongue will hang loose from its mouth. And this stillborn thing dies another death, only to be clawed at and replaced by another, snapping furiously, hissing and mewling.
Where the scales have been stripped away and the flesh holds them together, the stillborns have tried to pull away. They are peeling at each other, but it refuses to let them go. And so some are pulled, taut, stretched, very thin across regions where they have tried to pull away, and their brethren have brought them back. Their wings out, thin, translucent, ripping, tearing from each other, but still bound.
All are fragile, all are pallid and mewling and weak, but some are larger than others. And as the light fades from one, as it dies its second death, we see one of those larger ones snap at it with its jaws desperately unhinging and swallowing it whole. It will receive no sustenance, but still it tries to feed.
As these pale, mewling creatures consume one another, stretch over one another, form the limbs, form the face, form every part of this thing. To Calyxe in particular, it strikes her as odd. For suffering is beautiful no matter the form. Suffering is holy. Suffering sustains. But this is beyond suffering. There is no meaning to this. It is a senseless wave of tiny corpses. It is death without purpose. And as each head snaps, as each blind eye rolls back, as those crusted scales open and close around the moors, as the teeth fall from their little jaws, as the wings break, as the membranes snap, Calyxe can see no beauty here. Calyxe only sees an abomination.
From behind a draconic helm, the knight at the center of this mass.
Behold what was discarded. Behold the children who never drew breath long enough to make a mark on this world. The innumerable clutches that failed, the lives deemed too weak to matter. They were called stillborn, they were called mistakes. I call them unfinished. The dragon's grief is plentiful but silent, and silence is an insult to loss. So I gave that grief a body. I gave it weight. I gave it purpose. Through me the rejected endure. Through me they rise. Through me those who were denied life are given the dignity of power.
The Gestalt Knight raises one massive arm. Several of the baby dragons tear loose from his body, shrieking as they are ripped free. He hurls them at you. They strike like a living avalanche, scraping claws, snapping teeth, bodies slamming into armor and flesh. Tiny bursts of emerald fire bloom and fade across your skin. Individually, they are frail, brittle things. Together, they overwhelm. Biting, burning, dying in your hands, even as more are flung forward. To all embers, describe how you attempt to survive the opening assault, the rain of flung bodies, the clinging hatchlings, the pitiful green flames, and then roll the dark move. We'll start with Fenwyn.
Fenwyn doesn't need his more attuned senses for this. It's chaotic and noisy. He knows instinctively that he has to move and move fast. And more importantly, he has to know that the others are safe and that he will be able to divert this avalanche towards him. He is going to try and draw off as many of these as he can. He is going to pull the red lion guard cloth out of his, that he's already got half of it around his face. He's going to pull the rest of it and almost like a red rag to a bull, because it has a quality that says it always draws the attention of nearby foes and beasts, and he is going to use it to try and run circles around this thing and split it up.
Interesting. Or what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I am afraid that I will not be able to hold back the tide, and I will be completely consumed, even though it might buy the others a second or two.
I will let you... obviously, you can mark the aspect always draws attention from nearby foes or beasts. Take advantage. I'll let you roll it with straight advantage. I won't even have your bloom blindness affect you. This is going to be with... let me take a look at your cinders. This might be a cinder thing. There's a cruel part of me that wants to say even the unscalable, meaning dead baby dragons who have no scales, can fall. But I won't do that. It can fall to the small and certain. Instead, I will just have you roll with, I think it's probably vitality.
Well, yesterday's struggle didn't go very well. And that luck has followed me into today's session. That's a 5.
Oh, no. What'd you say you were scared is going to happen? I don't think I even said how it was worse.
That I would be consumed by the avalanche. It would buy the others a second, but it would be too much.
Yeah, we'll come back to this. I want to check in with Ash. Ash, how are you during the assault?
I think Ash is trying to get close enough so that the throw bypasses him, and is going to be running forward and then almost like he's hopping up into the air as the lumen glider boots activate.
Oh, good.
And he's going to, these blue crescents that are edged in red form under his feet and carry him up as steps into the air.
That's pretty good. I like that a lot. This is going to be the dark move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I am afraid I'm going to misjudge the timing and I'm going to get a ball of baby dragons to the face.
It's worse than that. You will be torn apart and burned to death, just like Fen is about to be. So please go ahead and mark that aspect if you wish, and roll with vitality.
Yep. Vitality. 9.
Even with your +3 vitality?
I rolled badly.
Fantastic.
The options were not good.
Calyxe, how do you endure the rain of baby dragon corpses?
The abomination that this presents to Calyxe, suffering not as a form of beauty, but suffering for suffering beyond, is something she cannot stand. And she's going, I think, as the dragons are flung at her, and as they mewl and as they screech on the ground, she's going to try and end that abominable suffering using the heartwood nails, silver birch for punishment of defiling such a sacred thing to her, and she is going to nail every baby dragon she can see down into the earth to end it.
Very, normal response to the situation, I feel like.
Yup.
Please, if you want to mark that aspect, you can get advantage. You are going to be rolling with Cinder, however.
Oh, great.
I never asked you what you're afraid is going to happen, but it feels pretty self-evident. So,
The baby dragons are going to find a new home on me,
indeed,
and I'm going to
indeed.
become that abomination.
Ooh, interesting. What'd you get?
A 4.
A 4. Great.
A 4.
Going great so far.
Oh,
Thea. How do
yeah.
you try to endure or escape the onslaught?
Theia can't stop them from being thrown, launching at her fellows and scraping and biting and mewling and trying to find some semblance of life. She pities them. Perhaps she can at least bring them a mote of comfort in death. And she will pull down her gittern, which can lull even dangerous beasts into a deep sleep. And she will sing to them, "Weep not, lest the salt of your tears make your siblings refuse to grow. Breathe deep, and the stillness of air may still your heartbeats, loves. Your frames cannot withstand these blows, dears. Rest now in my hands. I shall cleanse your scales of this suffering. Weep not."
I think that because the time of the Wolf King may be ending, your song may not have quite as much power as you hope, putting you at disadvantage. It is the dark move. What do you pray is going to happen if you fail?
They will continue to suffer, as shall I.
Indeed, you will be ripped apart and or burned by a flood of baby dragons that are not stayed by your song. Please roll with presence, at least.
I'm going to mark that aspect I invoked to bring it to a flat roll.
Okay.
That's a 13.
Nice. For your bonus, I'll let you save one of your condemned companions. You have to choose, though, Fenwyn or Calyxe.
I think Theia can see Fenwyn trying to draw the dragons away from the others towards him. And she can see Calyxe attempting to stab them with nails. And she is going to focus her attention more on the wave going towards Fenwyn.
Fenwyn, you are about to be overwhelmed. Indeed, you're going to take a condition. I think you get just really bad scratches, and I imagine baby dragons are a little bit like kittens. Their claws are particularly sharp, if not damaging, but they go deep. And so you're going to take puncture wounds as a condition. But before you can get overwhelmed, you hear Theia's song. And the dragons are actually drawn to it. The ones that would be scrambling and climbing and snapping and biting over you and Theia are actually gathering in a little circle around Theia. And so you are saved. Ash, you're doing this. You're evading. You're stepping up on these little lunar steps, these little crescents, and you're avoiding the main thrust of it. But the Gestalt Knight looks up, heaves its massive body. He looks up at you and says,
"Where do you think you're going?"
and tosses a single baby dragon that manages to smack onto your face and burn your cheek before you toss it off. You now have a scar that throbs green on your cheek.
Can I use a knight
Oh yeah.
for that? Because I
What-
had a 9.
Oh
So I
yeah,
make
of
it
course.
10.
What does the knight do?
As the
Well, you also have
singular dragon.
Malin in them as well, right?
Yeah. As the single dragon is lobbied up towards him, Ash isn't fast enough to raise his hand, but Malin is there and just skewers the dragon on his ephemeral blade. Eyes up, brother.
Good. Poor Calyxe. You just get overwhelmed. They're just smacking you. At one point, one of them gets hurled at you with such velocity that you just get knocked on your back. And there's like 10 of them snapping and hissing and scrambling towards you. And they overwhelm you, and they tear, and they belch their little green flames in your eye sockets, and they rip at your flesh. Unless you stoke the fire.
I don't. Yeah, jokes, I do.
Well, like what?
I'm going to stoke a shrine fire.
Okay, very good. We'll deal with that next time. For now, I think you take the same condition that Fenwyn did. You managed to get out of that, with your life and continue stabbing little baby dragons. The second movement. Baby dragons burst apart in sprays of ichor and green fire, their cries cutting off mid-sound. And still the night advances. For every corpse you tear away, another writhes into place, dragging itself across his frame, locking together in a living shell. There is a man somewhere inside this mass. You can see it now, faintly, a silhouette buried deep beneath layers of suffering. But every attempt to reach him is swallowed by the armor itself. The hatchlings absorb the blows meant for their master, snapping and clawing even as they die. To all embers, your weapons cannot reach the man within. Describe how you fight anyway, holding him back, carving away layers, protecting one another, knowing every effort only feeds the horror. There's no dice here, just narrative.
Fenwyn, with the song still echoing around this clearing, heads directly towards the Gestalt. It's almost as if the song has given this struggle a clarity to him and how he comprehends this space, the geometry of it, the angles of it. And there's just something in that he knows Theia is the epicenter of that safety, and that as long as her words carry on the wind, he will be okay, they will be okay, they will make it through this. He steps on malformed baby dragons as they fall to the ground. He climbs up the Gestalt Knight, and he uses his bracers on his arms to slash away at the sinew and the scale that peels away. And his usual balletic grace, pinpoint accuracy, starts to break down, and he becomes almost like a whirling dervish of steel, his harpoon pinwheeling around the space. It's less a dance and more a brawl. Fenwyn is holding steady, but for how much longer?
Ash, same question. You cannot reach him, but describe how you fight anyway.
Ash is still climbing up on these moonlit steps, and as he gets closer, the maw begins to extend as he leans into animal and ferocity. He holds not name taker, for the Verdant axe of the branch-torn knight, and as he is high enough to where the Gestalt would have to look up to see him, he allows the crescents beneath his feet to disappear. They shatter into reds and blues as he wields the axe above and cleaves down the front of this Gestalt to peel away as many dragons as he can.
Theia, same question. You cannot reach the knight, but you can try to tear some of the dragons away.
Theia keeps singing. She keeps singing as loud as she can, as long as she can, trying to keep that soothing note in her voice. Her voice is tired. It sounded tired when she started, and it's tiring. Tiring more now, straining. Her voice didn't used to ever tire. It's hard to keep strumming. The blisters and burns on her fingers are still raw. She never used to get tired. But she sees the others fighting, and she keeps going to draw those poor, sorrowful little things away. It is cruel to not let them die.
Calyxe, same question.
The wolf howls. The night slices. And the mouse dances. And there is an endless rage that is building in Calyxe, as it seems no amount of suffering is enough for this night. She will let it know what true suffering is. She will show it beauty. She will feed the earth. And the only way she knows how. The weapon that has never failed her, the Tenderbark Confessor. A great claw made of branches and nails, iron and wood met beautifully. It is meant to be wielded artfully, skillfully, to evoke the most vicious of suffering. But the anger that shakes at Calyxe's hands, that pulses at her temple, that is begging for her to scream, wields it like a club. It lands with a thud in its back. And as Calyxe rips it off, the nails drag 100 baby dragons with it. But it is not enough. Again and again, the Confessor finds its mark, and again the screams do not come, the suffering does not come. And she is a vortex of anger and meaninglessness.
The third movement. Ash. Describe what you do in an attempt to disperse the stillborn armor just long enough to expose the knight within, and then roll the dark move.
He has carved through these dragons, and as he lands near to the ground but not on it, the boots activate again. He is hovering in the air. He does not drop the axe, but hands it to one of the spectral knights near him as he takes his hands, now claws, and digs them into the chest of the Gestalt. He pulls apart the stretching tendons of these baby dragons, ripping the flesh from flesh to reach a hand deep into and grab onto the throat of the man within.
Roll the dark move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I am afraid I will miss my mark, and the hole I made will close over and pull me in.
I think it's worse than that, even. I think that you will actually lose a single combat to Stillborn Gestalt Knight inside the mass of baby dragons. He has his old sword, and he just kills you inside this. This will be your grave. This is a vitality roll. Do you have any aspects you're marking here?
So I just remembered, and you can tell me I can't use it if not. But last session, Theia gave me an advantage that I
You can
have
use it.
not used.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Great.
It's a good roll,
I'm
vitality.
using
Yeah.
the song of Theia behind me. $11.
It's as you've described. The fourth movement. The Gestalt Knight is exposed. The time to strike the killing blow is now. Let's paint the scene. For a brief moment, you receive flashes of insight that show something tender, private, and utterly human about the stillborn Gestalt Knight. How do you know this armor was never meant to protect the knight, but to keep him from ever feeling alone in his grief?
I think we see, and the environment changes as we see it to kind of almost dampen all sound, and maybe a sustained note that Theia rings out holds it in kind of beautiful operatic stillness, that we see the knight very briefly inside this suit cradling one particular draconic baby. It's kind of frail, sickly, almost like completely white, translucent. And in that moment, we realize that that was the beginning of all this.
Just before he finds that baby, just before he finds something he's been missing, we see him traipsing over a great trail between the spine mountains of the world, entirely alone. Only the sound of the metal covering his boots to comfort him. Everyone he has ever known, every family he has ever had, is gone. And he walks this lonely path, aware that there may never be anyone else, until he comes upon the mouth of a very familiar cave.
Theia's voice is getting so weak with exhaustion. Her song is becoming meandering, repetitive, nonsensical, tuneless. And it finally just cuts out as she stops to take a breath. But the song continues, because he too is singing to these poor little things and trying to soothe them.
Ash's hand in the dark, writhing mass reaches. He was aiming for flesh. He finds a face. His hand locks around the bridge of a nose and the back of an ear. It is cold in there, but there is something warm that touches his hand, and at first he thinks it is blood, but he realizes they are tears. This knight weeps for all that surround him. He weeps for himself, and he weeps for all that he has wrought.
Fenwyn. Ash has managed to pull the stillborn Gestalt Knight out of the baby dragon armor just enough to strike the killing blow. Please describe how you attempt to do so and roll the light move.
The air is still thick with baby dragons raining down. Scale, tooth, claw, malformed wings darken the sky. Fenwyn is still being chased by these dog-sized dragons snapping at his heels. He's leading them on a merry dance through this clearing, trying to find a position where he can get a clear shot with his bow. He moves around, dodges past Calyxe, moves in behind Theia, and still not quite on top of having a clear map of how this is all playing out due to Theia's waning tone. He steadies himself by placing the arrow and the bow on Theia's shoulder and just says to her, "Guide me." And he draws back the bow, brings light into the space, sees his target true, and fires.
What are you afraid is going to happen if you miss?
I'm afraid I'm going to hit Ash.
Roll with composure.
I'll mark the bow, the Darkstar hunting bow, for advantage as well. It's a 7.
Okay.
But I would like the stoke to buy the fire to bump it up if possible.
Sure. Describe the death of the stillborn Gestalt Knight.
It's just as sad as everything we've seen. There's no real relief that this suffering is over. It's so thick with loss, sadness. The arrow finds its home. There's barely even a recognition from the night within. Ash crumples to the ground as the writhing mass of green and grey collapses. And we're left with nothing but pain surrounding us on all sides.
You get rewards for defeating the stillborn Gestalt Knight. One of you, and only one of you, will get the stillborn hatchling. A stillborn hatchling worn like a large, unliving gauntlet. It can breathe a gout of green flame. You have to decide who's getting that. Who wants to walk around with a baby dragon on their arm?
I do not want that.
I just don't need any more weapons.
For me, that's a bit much.
It is what it is. You can just put it in your bag for now, I suppose.
I'll take it, but Jesus Christ.
We'll leave it for Berg. You can come and get it.
And then your other reward is you get to go into the cave and find a Lord clue, which you all get to define. Also, by completing this struggle, you are at a point in the campaign where you must answer the Lord question. You have a total of, with this clue, I think 8 Lord clues. One that still has to be defined from last time. The plan is this. In between sessions, you all are going to have a discussion about what the answer to the question is. How do we find Lyralin? And then we will answer a question for the Lord question at the very top of the session next time, and then begin the final confrontation with Nuxiliacs. For now, we go to end of session. You have not resolved a mystery. Fenwyn, did you roll a cinder?
You toyed with it, but you didn't make me do it in
I
the
didn't
end.
make you do it, yeah.
No.
Did you deliver an embittered monologue about the dimning?
I feel like that shrine fire at the beginning was well, basically Fenwyn caused the dimning. that's what he's thinking. So I think so.
Did you demonstrate your amazing physical talents to someone else's wonder and astonishment?
I'm really struggling with that recently.
Yeah, a little bit. Well,
I'm
I mean,
more just kind of fumbling around in the mud.
Yeah. Go ahead and mark 1 XP. Calyxe of the Verdant Crucible. Did you roll a cinder?
I did.
Did you give cold comfort to the suffering? Yes, you did. Did you give the monologue?
While I was speaking to Fen, and also while I was at the sapling.
Yeah, I feel like you do that one pretty consistently. Theia, you get your XP for completing the quest.
Mhm.
Did you roll a cinder?
No.
Did you perform publicly or intimately in a way that shifted the balance of power? Oh, yes. There in the fight. Did you spill blood instead of using voice, wit, or song?
I did not.
You pick up 2 XP.
Which way do I move for the
Oh, blue all the way, right?
Yeah,
It's got to be
so.
blue. Yeah. Ash, let's take a look at your questions. Did you roll a cinder?
I did not.
Did your pride reveal itself beneath the mask of humility?
Like a little bit on the boat, but I don't know if it counts.
I don't know if it quite got there.
Yeah.
Did you glimpse the person you once were or the name you might yet take? That I think so.
No. Is it?
Well, I'm thinking about it in terms of like how Calyxe keeps referring to you as the king to come, right? So in that sense, Calyxe kind of did you a favor.
Yeah. I have one more question.
Sure.
Theia, did I act in accordance with Destined for the Hidden Throne?
Oh yes, you were very diplomatic with Pedro.
Yay.
Who has to stoke the fire next time? I know Matt does. You have shrine. Did you do shrine
fire?
Yeah. Did anyone else? All right then. That just leaves us to debrief with stars and wishes.
The stillborn gestalt is disgusting. It's horrible. I remember when Jason first told me about this and I was like, that sounds really metal. I don't ever want to be involved with that ever. And yeah, it lived up to its billing. It was horrifying. So well done you, Jason. I hope you're proud of yourself. I really loved the highlight for that session for me was the scene in the boat where we got to talk to each other and the pairings might not have been who we thought they might have been. I really enjoyed Asher fangirling over Theia. I really loved that. That was just really fun. I really liked how Fenwyn felt compelled to speak to Calyxe about guilt and the burden of being a coward, and Jess, how you brought that around at the end was just, kind of perfect. We got 2 songs from Michelle this week. Unbelievable. Incredible. How do you do it? It's unbelievable. It's a gift every time you bestow that on us. I love it very much. I'm real sad, guys, that we've got one more to go and that we're going to have to wrap this up. I feel like we could play this forever and not get bored. I feel
drown our sadness in a pile of dead baby dragons.
Yeah. It's a real hopping party over in the lands remaining right now. I feel like the way that Wren, you're bringing kind of ashes, you're not letting us forget that there's the threat of this throne ascent coming. And at this point, I'm more terrified of you taking the throne than anyone else. But yeah, we're nearly there, guys. It's it.
So, yeah, to echo what Matt said, the stillborn Gestalt Knight is arguably the worst thing I've ever had to imagine. Never mind having dead baby dragon corpses thrown at us. That, again, with every layer that we get into more of the lands remaining, the more I'm like, this is about as like surprised as I can be at what we're about to face. But then I forget that this is a game that's made not just by the horrendous mind of Jason Cordova, but like multiple people. So it's got so many facets of awfulness to it, and all different ways to make us suffer and bleed. Mainly in good ways, but Jesus Christ, this one was hard. Well done on making an excellent struggle there. It was vile. Matt, the opening scene, your old fire, with the description of looking upon the hidden king as a boy, tying that so very nicely back into your first old fires. Like, I think that was your first old fire. Having that come around so loving, like brilliantly full circle, and for it to be you to be the herald of the dimning. Absolutely excellent. Loved our scene on the boat. I really enjoyed the way you fought the knight. It was so that scene at the end of bringing Theia in to guide you. Again, Fenwyn finding ways to navigate the world without one sense is just something I could watch you like strategize on for ages. So it's a really well played character. I really enjoy watching Fen. Michelle, there was obviously the songs. I will always say the songs. There was something that you said to Asher. There was a line you had. Maybe we can play together. And it was your response to that completely caught me off guard, but it was so quick, it was so witty, it was so inherently Theia, and it was so perfect for that moment. It was that beautiful lightness that we needed on Pale Crossing. So inherently Theia, and what I love about her is the depths of the sorrow that she can feel when she's facing something as horrific as the night. And then the next session, we will see her at her absolute peak. It's her in the bathtub despairing about being alone for 30 years and then flirting with everything and everyone in sight. It's these two beautiful extremes that you play with so well as Theia. I love it. I could watch it forever. Asher, Pluck, is an absolute boon. I hope nothing bad happens to them. I hope they stay in this game forever. I love watching you embody each of them. Ash is 1,000 different characters, and you bring from Lord Bear through to Malin, through to Rowan. Everyone has their mannerism, everyone has their own personality. And the more like another night joins, I'm just like, what's this one gonna be? How many more can you just pull out and pin to the back of your head and then pull out when you need to? Because they're played so well, and there's so much fun to interact with and watch be interacted with. The Asher and Theia scene, I think, was my absolute highlight for this. That was great fun. Stars all around, excellent. I don't want this to end. This is gonna be real sad. But maybe we just keep playing afterwards. Maybe we don't record it. We just keep playing. That'd be cool. I'd like that.
Star for the Pale Crossing scene. That was so great. It was just it was so good to have the characters all back together because they had been split up for like so many sessions, and we saw them in pairs periodically, but like it was nice to have everybody get together, and it felt really like we're going back to where we started. Like we started over here and now we're going back over here. And so I just kind of really enjoyed the scene. Great role play. I really, really enjoyed the scene between Fen and Calyxe, Fen the Gravedigger, that is, and Calyxe. That was I don't know. I mean, even though I was playing Fen, I was freaking myself out. Like it was just really scary. And like, and I like how you interact with him, that like he's clearly suffering and you're just like laying on more, you know, like it's horrible, you know, it's horrible to think about everything he's endured for 30 years. And then now you're here, you know, just to kind of make it worse and to steal his blood. So it was all bad. It was great in a good way. Yeah, I continue to enjoy Ash or Wren, how you play the Nameless Legion is just so cool. And I'll second everything about the songs as well, Michelle. It's always such a highlight, and it adds so much texture and flavor to the world. And if we don't do like a chapbook or a hymnal book or something of Land's remaining poems, I feel like that'll be a great loss. And Matt, I also really enjoyed your you did Old Fire, or you did Shrine's Fire today, right? That was really good. That was like so enjoyable. Yeah, I'm very bummed that we're almost done, but it's been really good. So it's been great.
Matt, I really loved your Shrine's Fire. I loved the way you brought it all the way back to the very start of your story, and the way you incorporated like blindness as this kind of metaphorical but also very literal aspect of your story that's existed all the way through. It was very clever, and it was also just very beautifully narrated, and I was like really on the edge of my seat in a very literal fashion listening to it. It was lovely. Wren, there's this, okay, come with me. There's this show that was on years ago called Orphan Black, and it was like about this cloning program, and this one actress played like so many different characters, like different versions of herself, and it was like a masterclass in acting. It was an extraordinary show, and I feel like you as Ash are kind of this. You're like bringing to life all these different aspects of himself through the different knights we get to meet, and it's just so sensational. I've told you before, I love your physicality when you bring characters to life, and it's so lovely to see those subtleties in how you change who you are. I know you've like joked about scenes where you're just talking to yourself, but I love those scenes, and I really enjoy getting to like interact with Asha. I was like, ever since Pluck was introduced, I was like, God, I want to talk to her. So that was nice. I'm glad we got to do that. Jess, I just, you always do the wide-eyed monologue about suffering, right? And that could get repetitive, but it doesn't, because it's gestural. So it's always different. It's always thematically on point to exactly what's happening. It always tells us something, even a small thing about who Calyxe is that we didn't quite know or hadn't quite seen in that way before. It's genuinely mesmerizing. I don't know how you manage to keep doing these monologues and it always brings something new. You're a very impressive woman. Jason, today we got the hat trick. We got a sassy bitch in Burke. We got horrible mouth sounds from Fen the Gravedigger, and we got a gestalt. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you have brought this to us on this day. I will give you a star for this.
Yeah, no, stars all around. I really liked the shrine that we did.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah, stars for the shrine. It was great.
It's just building on this family and its demise. I really like these small stories that we get to tell, because this in itself is just such like a sweeping tale. We're going to all these places and seeing all these things, but then it's just like focusing in on this one family and how the dimming affected them, like we did with Elgoreth. It's so interesting, and it builds so much into the history of the game that we're in, and I just love where people take it. Matt, the Shrine Fire was great. Just how the story built up over realizing who the old man was. Was it the kindly old man? I'm correct. Great. Pay attention. But just like realizing who that is, who that means to Fenwyn, all of these like little hints of things that we've gotten like through the story, just seeing it like come to fruition. I was really excited to see that today. And also, I feel in a way, and Fenwyn might not see it that way, but I feel like he got a little bit of redemption today. Like I feel like you could shake your head all you want. I feel like it happened.
1 XP.
1 XP. Michelle, Theia, I loved the interaction with Asha. I loved it so much. It was so funny and fun for me to just play like this light fangirl meeting a celebrity, essentially. It was fun. I also love how Theia is always lounging, consistently lounging on any surface. It's knowing how sad and dark Theia's story can be at times, to just have her in these light moments. Again, it's the push and pull of these different aspects that you tie into everything. And the songs, plural, were lovely. I know the second one, it was like a reprise of the one on the stairs. Loved that so much. Loved tying that back in. Just the way that your mind works. I'm very invested all of the time. Jess, I am terrified that Calyxe is back to form in a lot of ways. You know, it's a very special kind of fear that comes over a person when they're trying to be sincere and they're scary, and then they're back to inflicting suffering and they're scary. So just the baseline is scary and we cannot leave. I love that Calyxe is still invested in the land and the ways of the Crucible, that she had her moments of doubt and is still maybe somewhat questioning a bit, but is still so firmly rooted in the ways of the Verdant Crucible. I don't know what's happening with her. And again, like I said, terrifying, scares me all the time. Jason, the Gestalt night was gross. It was something. I feel in like the heart of it, we got to hear Noxiliacs as well. And I think that's the first time like we above have like directly communicated in some way with him to hear that kind of thing. So it was really like interesting to see the Lord's like perspective on like what he's done, because that was a horror, but he's just like, no, I've bestowed onto these ones power where they could have none.
Oh, to be clear, that was the knight who said that.
Oh,
the knight
okay.
spoke that. Yeah. Although I kind of like the idea of like maybe not. It's interesting that you all it's interesting that you interpreted it as Nox speaking through the night. That's kind of interesting, right? Like,
yeah. No, it's because in something like the Between, our masterminds, the lords, whatever, we interact with them on occasion. Noxiliacs is just this distant,
you never interact with them. Yeah,
thing. We never interact with them. So like
just as followers.
This apart. So we have the Green Embers, we have the Emerald Knights, and now we have this Gestalt. So we have all of these like fragments of like his presence, but not him. So I guess we're gonna see what he's like next time. Excited.